Good morning, y'all. It's Cody's Bait and Tackle, Warsaw, Missouri. Gonna give a little bit of a fishing report. I ain't posted nothing here for a little while. A lot of stuff's changing on the fish patterns. That was the last thing I said. Well, it's pretty well changed. This week we've caught catfish anywhere from 2 foot of water down to 60 foot of water. These fish are really scattering out and they're eating. I mean, most of them are eating, whether they're shallow, deep, on them drop offs, off ledges. Some of the biggest schools of fish are still on the ledges. They haven't moved up shallow yet. Uh, Fresh cut shad is key right now. I cleaned a few fish this week that had drum inside of them. I did try a few drum chunks. It didn't work real well. That fresh shad is where it's at this time of year. We are getting some rains, getting cold rain right now, which is going to set them shallow fish back a little bit, I'm afraid. We needed a good warm rain, and that would have helped draw some of them fish back up in them creeks. Last weekend, there was a lot of fish up in the creeks. Some of them did go shallow this week. Yesterday, I did find a lot of fish shallow. They wasn't real hungry. They just kind of, you'd set up, catch a couple, have to move. A lot of slot fish. A lot of the eaters had done moved out. And that was pretty well everywhere I went. Most of the fish I caught yesterday was in a little bit deeper water, 8 to 15 foot, where I had been catching them shallower a couple days before that. A lot of the fish 2 days ago was in less than 5 foot of water. Same way I fished Sparrowfoot area one day. Most of the fish that day come in less than 5 foot of water. It was a good warm day, had some wind. I do want to mention that shallow water bite to some of you guys. If you're not used to it, this is the best time for it. You get a good warm day, then fish will run up shallow, and usually if they're there, they're feeding. That's why they're there. The best way to do that is, some people try to double anchor. You got to be really quiet on them fish. They spook out really easy. If you don't have something right there you can tie up to, get you a couple chain link fence poles, screw them together. You got manual power poles. That's all I use. They work good as long as it's not super windy. Sometimes, like up there Sparrowfoot, some of that bottom up there is real hard. You can't stick them in it. Up there, I just use my spot lock on my trolling motor if I have to. As long as you got a pretty good solid one direction wind, it's not swirling, that works pretty good. Lake of the Ozarks, you can pretty much stick mud poles anywhere. A lot of the fish this week come off ledges, stuck mud poles, fish off them ledges too. They did run water on and off this week. They'd run it one morning, and then the next day they'd run it of an evening. I haven't called the day to see what they was going to run. They actually ran it yesterday morning quite a bit, so I'd say it'll probably be this evening they'll run it today. I don't know, though, without calling the number. On the crappie, this goes for Truman and Lake of the Ozarks. Everybody I've talked to on Truman's seen the same thing I seen on Ozarks this week with the crappie. All your big schools of fish scattered out. Spider rigging right now would work really good. The guys live scoping, I watched some of them yesterday. Man, they was chasing fish all over the place. They wasn't just sitting there and catching no more. I've seen crappie on bottom in 20 foot of water this week. I've seen crappie 6 inches under the surface this week, right on top, just up there sunning, I guess. That water did muddy up some. That brings them fish up shallower sometimes so they can see to eat. I did see some guys do pretty good spider rigging this week, a couple of days on Ozarks, so I know that bite has definitely picked up quite a bit. And they was using jigs and minnows, didn't seem to matter. On Truman, pretty well all the guides are still catching limits of fish. They're just having to work for them a little bit more. They're not sitting in one spot right now and just catching limits of fish. They're having to go hit them creeks. Looked like most of them this week was chasing some of them shallower fish up in the creeks. Probably more aggressive fish there than the deeper ones. I didn't crappie fish at all this week, so I couldn't tell you anything at all on the lower part of Truman, but I know the last couple of days I did fish it, them fish had really scattered out that was all schooled up. So I'm guessing they're scattered out, moving up into them creeks a little bit more now. This rain will bring some of them up in there. Same way with the catfish on Truman. Man, they really scattered out this last week. 2 weeks ago, I was sitting in one spot catching 40 fish without ever having to move. The last 2 days I fished Truman, I had to move just constantly. Set up, catch 5, 6 fish, have to move. Set up, catch maybe 2 or 3 fish and have to move. Biggest thing this time of year, if you set up and you catch a couple fish right off the bat, move. I mean, them fish in the shallower water, they do spook out away from the boat super easy. You let a sinker hit the side of your boat, you let a fish flop around in the bottom of the boat, chances are you spooked everything out away from you. That sound really carries in that water and they don't like it. Most of the time you don't have to move very far. Like yesterday, I set up at the end of the fish in the creek in about 7-8 foot of water, and I just worked my way out to about 14 foot. Caught fish every time we set up, and quite a few fish. A lot of slot fish. I only had 2 days this week. We didn't catch any overs, but we did catch some good fish this week. Looked like just about all the guides was catching good catfish this week. Talk about the shop here for a minute. We are pretty well stocked up for anything you'll need for crappie, white bass, spoonbill, or catfish right now, or walleye. Just about everything you would want we have in. We haven't stocked up on the bass section yet. We've got a lot of that stuff on order. We're going through a couple of different companies on some of that stuff this year. We'll see what they get together for us. I'm letting them decide on that, what they think will sell in here. So I'm just kind of leaving them some space open. We still have a ton of reels and rods, anything to get you started for spring we have in here. And I want to mention the cabins. Our big cabin, our big rock house we redone. We do have it rented out for most of snagging season. Have it open quite a bit this summer still. There's some weekends in there still open. My little cabin, my 1800s log cabin I restored, it should be up and functioning after today. I've got a guy hooking up the heating and air today for me in there. And then it'll be ready to rent out. So you guys will want to stay tuned in for that. I'll post another video over there. Probably this afternoon. Or early morning I might post it. I don't know. We'll see what time everything gets finished up over there today. That's a really... Oh, one other thing I got. We did set our 4th of July fireworks display date this year. I had to get the music. Brandon Ward's going to do the music again. Went over pretty good last year. It's going to be July 3rd again. That's my birthday. I think it's on a Monday or Tuesday. That'll be the night we're doing our fireworks display. That way it shouldn't interfere with any of the other fireworks displays around. That's all I got for you guys. I appreciate it and hope you have a good one. Looks like some really good weather tomorrow. Today looks like rain most of the day. Hopefully we'll see some of you guys in the shop tomorrow. Have a good one.